On today's video, we're going to see if there are any bad neighborhoods or hoods here on Key West, Florida. Being so expensive of an island, a lot of people wonder, are there bad areas? Are there areas that are, undesirable? A lot of the people that work in Key West live here. It's definitely not a pretty place. I'm actually surprised at how much poverty there is. You can just see the people, how they're living, and you can tell there's poverty. So no, not everybody's rich here. Originally, it just used to be a bunch of old trashy trailers. Used to be a lot of beat up old trailers, but they're starting to put in big houses. Every time you come out here, you see more and more big houses. It means that the poor people are just constantly being displaced, having to live further and further from where they were. It's not like a contrast neighborhoods where you got like the poor people that were already here from before. Those like the old beat up mobile homes and tiny little shacks and stuff. And then you got like the rich people, they're starting to move in, building bigger houses right next to them. Like quick. Maybe they didn't want you. They don't want you to show the island. Maybe like they're embarrassed people live on the island like that, and they don't want you to like. They don't want. They're trying to keep it like on the down low. Beyond wild to live on an island that has hurricanes all the time and then be on a mobile home. The only thing they can do is stucco them.
Yeah.
Stucco them up, add some weight to it so the storm surge comes in, doesn't swipe it away. And the stucco will make a difference.
Look at the detail on that gate.
Mm-hmm. Hard to tell where the garbage ends and where the people's houses start. There's like a shantytown right there. The crap is that? It's like a shantytown almost. And it's already been. I haven't even started my drink and my straw's already been gone.
Sorry, baby.
Oh, this is where that one Cuban restaurant was we ate last time. It's like you live in an apartment, but then like your apartment's like. Can you imagine that? Like literally, like we live in an apartment, but then your apartment is kind of a commercial hub as well, or some sort. I don't think they're allowed to sell real straws here. We might have to finish at a gas station or something. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to finish my drink. Using an environmentally friendly straw if it doesn't freaking work. Not my fault. Turtles use the straws to snort Coke.
I'm all for whatever biodegradable thing, but it should not be degraded in my drink.
Yeah, for real, dude. We're just picking up the garbage. You got your work cut out there with all them people littering down there. That's just wrong. That's just wrong to litter. Like, I would never litter. You imagine like living in an apartment complex or a mobile home that's like in a commercial park, I guess you could call it. But yeah, not everybody's rich on the islands. I don't know where people get the notion. Look at that. That's a straight up shantytown. What the crap is that? Yo, like, I kid you not, it's like literally a shantytown. Like, that's not like a legally structured building. What the crap is that? It's like a trailer, and they've added more trailers to it. Like, that's not a legally structured building. Yo, what the crap is that? Like, that's literally a shantytown back there. What the crap? They got like bricks holding together the roof. What the? That's like some like straight out of the islands type crap. Look at that. How is this a building? What the crap? These are like literally shantytowns out here. That's literally like a shantytown. That's not even like legally a building. You got your work cut out, lady. Catch those apartments I was saw earlier. They're really crappy. Around here? I'm not sure what the crap is this. Is there a place to turn around here? No. I just turned around. I thought it was a road. It's hard to tell where the road starts and the businesses end, or the it's all one giant conglomeration of crap. 6 in the morning with a tow truck out there just making noise while you're trying to sleep. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. I don't even understand why you do something like that. La madre que los parió. And Key West is rich. And while you don't have to be rich, it's okay to be poor. You don't have to be a jerk. This has got to be like the most unsightly place I've ever seen. But at least I don't live on a cockroach infested trailer in Key West. Con la cucaracha y la chincha. Yo, la ciudad de Cayo Hueso tiene que ir quien como basura. Que se pasa el día entero en este camión dando vueltas. Because he's not doing anything other than driving around like an idiot. The city of Key West needs to find out who this guy is and who's paying this guy to drive around. Oh crap, we're about to... Yeah, buddy. Who is this guy and who pays this guy to drive around? What does this guy do? Y'all need to find out who's paying this guy to drive around this truck all day. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you guys some of the areas where the normal people of Key West live and work. As we know, not everybody in Key West is rich. There are normal working class neighborhoods. And there's actually neighborhoods that are actually kind of sketchy. Real hoods. I mean, not everybody that lives in Key West is rich. So today, I'm going to kind of venture into an area where it's kind of more regular people at night. You can actually see the police lights and sirens over there. There are some real neighborhoods here. So we're gonna go into some areas that are a little bit kind of not the tourist route. So yeah, not everybody that lives in Key West is kind of wealthy. There's normal areas. You can see there's a lot of bicycles here, so not everybody even has a car, motorcycles. So this is kind of a more affordable kind of hood area, you can see. And we're gonna step back in these apartments and show you guys kind of where the real people that work in Key West at your hotel and restaurants, the type of neighborhoods where they live. Like definitely off the tourist route for sure. So I lived in Naples, Florida, and Naples is just as expensive as Key West. And you know, people in Naples that go to the hotels and stuff, I don't think they put too much thought into the fact that the people that work in the hotels, the people that come to these places, they don't realize that what the people get paid for working at a hotel or a resort, that's not enough money to live in a place like Key West or Naples. So those people have to live in hoods pretty much, and that's kind of what we're going to go into today. So how it works is mostly, you got to look at affordability, and you kind of get what you pay for. What's up, I'll say? So population density is really high in the poor areas, mobile home parks and condos that are kind of, as you can see, the cars just come out to the road here. So population density is really high. The neighborhood where I spent about 20 years of my life in Naples, Florida, was kind of like this. I mean, literally the cars come out to the road at night. And if you come in here in the daytime, there wouldn't be any cars here. But at night, you can see that the population density is high. So an apartment here might rent for, I don't know, $1,500, but there might be 3 or 4 people sharing the apartment. By living in higher population density, they're able to afford to live in an area that otherwise wouldn't be affordable. So people are able to live awesome lives and have nice cars and stuff, but when it comes to housing, that's really where the crunch is. 2 jobs, 3 jobs, just to be able to make it in a very expensive place. But it's also, there's 2 sides of that. On one side, it's unaffordable and difficult, and on the other side, you live on an island. So there's definitely pluses to that. Living conditions are usually pretty crappy inside these type of apartments. For one, the population density is very high, so you get a lot of cockroaches, a lot of rats, a lot of disputes about space. When I lived in Naples, again, there might be 10 hot people inside one mobile home, and that's the living arrangement that they have to make. You can tell here, again, population density is definitely extraordinarily high. But if you think about what a job would pay, on this island, it would probably never quite be enough to live here, of course. So the people that live in these neighborhoods are getting more tickets, more fines, more code enforcement. So I guess, part of the difficulty out here is on the left, you got mobile homes, and on the right, you have what kind of looks like government housing for sure. But you got a mobile home park over here. The road is not paved. Again, population density, people on top of each other. But it's a bittersweet life. On one end of it, you're living on an island with beaches all around you. But in reality, most people here don't have time to go to the beach. They're working 2 and 3 jobs. As you can see, the roads are not paved, and people just kind of park their cars everywhere. It's kind of, when you think about Key West, you don't really think about unpaved roads. But for sure, there are some definitely sketchy neighborhoods of unpaved roads in Key West. You would think with it being just a rich area, there wouldn't be unpaved roads. And again, laundry hung outside because there is no dryer access. So it is definitely, and you can kind of smell people, roaches, and a little bit more. Definitely makes for some crappy smells of human. So we walk through here. A lot of people hanging out. Walking through here. Just walking by. Sapase, papi. Aquí estamos entonces en Key West, gente. Los Estados Unidos de América. Again, more mobile homes. Okay. And it's hot and humid. But yeah, at least this parking lot's paved over here on this side. But look how much activity there is in here. I mean, think about people that live here, they have to work 2 jobs, so 10 o'clock at night, most neighborhoods would be dead. 10 o'clock at night, it's just when people are getting home, unloading their groceries or whatever the crap they're doing, because they have to work so much to be able to afford living here. In fact, this car has scrap metal on top of it. You can see this car here. They're picking up scrap metal to make a little extra money, or maybe that's their full income source, but regardless, it's not even a pickup truck and they're scrapping out of it. Many doors you see on these buildings, and that the fact they're on both sides, you can tell that the square footage of these units are pretty small. And again, the fact that people actually have their laundry outside, they actually have, look, they actually have, I don't even know what the English word is for this, tendedores in Spanish. People are literally having to do their laundry outside because they don't have dryers. In fact, there's not enough space for a dryer inside these units, so they're gonna have to do their laundry either out the laundromat, or they can wash it inside by hand and hang it on hangers outside their apartments, which is something you would expect to see in a poor country. But in the United States, you know, you wouldn't expect when you come to Florida as a tourist to think that the people that are working in Marriott resorts and beachside resorts that are $600 a night, that the people that clean those apartments are living in places like this. It's kind of an embarrassment, really. Clase de calor, man. De madre. Insoportable, hermano. Hey, hermano, ¿estos apartamentos los rentan o esto es casa de gobierno?
No, esto es una propiedad privada.
Propiedad privada. ¿Los rentan entonces?
Sí.
Más o menos, ¿cuántos son los más baraticos?
No, depende del cuarto, de los cuartos.
¿Cómo salen? ¿Como 1000 y pico? 1900, algo así.
Yo en un solo cuarto y me cuesta 1200.
Wow.
Más los billes.
Más los billes. Qué cosa, mi hermano. So yeah, renting here is about $1,200 a month for a small 1-bedroom, and on top of that, you still have your utilities. So it starts at about $1,200 for a 1-bedroom. A 1-bedroom, it doesn't even have laundry. So it is private property. So these are just apartments you can rent. But I will tell you, $1,200 to live on an island isn't bad. The problem is the jobs here in Florida just don't pay that well. So if you're talking $1,200 for rent, you still got to come up with your utilities. You're still at $1,500 or $1,600, and you know, jobs here are also seasonal, which means you don't have work throughout the whole year. I thought it was government housing because it shows up as that on Google Maps. I don't know if that's just mislabeled, but regardless, you can rent a small apartment for $1,200 in a place like this. I'm sure some of the apartments then would have, or mobile homes, would be at something below that. So $1,200 isn't bad, but here's what you're missing on that picture. So as a comparison, I pay about just under $2,000. I mean, with my utilities, I'm about $2,200 a month in Sarasota, which is about twice what they're paying here. But when you calculate utilities, I don't know how that really comes out to when you calculate utilities. But as you notice, people work late, and even though it's late at night, people are just doing their thing out here. And you see the cars here are kind of just inches from each other. I mean, they're almost touching each other. I don't even know how you would get in and out of some of these cars. You can see it's like an alleyway right here. These houses are here like right up on top of each other. Let's see, you want this one. Beautiful Royal Pensiones. So overall, you know, crime rates in Key West are not that high. It's a fairly safe city. It's not dangerous or scary in any way. And you'll see things like, you know, an extension cord running to a truck or a van at night. And somebody's living in a car, and you know, they got a place where they can park it, hook up to an extension cord, run an AC unit or something. There are some very clever tricks to work around, you know, the affordability issue. I mean, tourism and little side jobs for people in construction are the only real source of income here. So during the time of year when the tourists are gone, the snowbirds are back up north, Key West becomes a ghost town. Now there is an island here where nothing but homeless people live. The problem is that to rent a boat, they want no less than $500, and that has me thinking. That's a lot of money to make one YouTube video. One YouTube video that might not make back that kind of money. I don't even know how many views the video would have to get for me to get on that island. And that's where most of the permanent homeless people live in Key West. The luckiest housing project on earth right here. Can you imagine getting free government housing on an island? The project, son. The hood, dog. And the answer is there are definitely bad areas in Key West, and it is not all touristy parts. And on today's video, we're gonna give you guys a tour of the worst neighborhoods in Key West. As you can see here, this is public government housing, and just like you would see anywhere else in government housing is always dangerous, and unfortunately this doesn't stop from being a bad place. Despite the fact it is on a tropical island, it is still gonna have bad neighborhoods, and they're spread out throughout the entire island. So on today's video, we're gonna explore how the normal working class people live on Key West. You know, working class neighborhoods for the average person, since not everybody on Key West is a millionaire. As you can see here, there are normal areas, there are normal communities for normal working class people, and there's definitely poverty in Key West. Not everybody's rich. So as you can see, we're kind of in government housing here, pretty much. You can tell by the fact that they're drying their laundry outside that there are no washers or dryers here. So you can see here how people on Key West, one of the most expensive places in the United States, don't even have access to a washer and dryer. They are doing their laundry outside in the heat. It's just horrendous to think that in the United States, this is how people are doing their laundry, like you would in Cuba or Haiti. On top of the fact that there is real poverty on Key West and there are regular working class people, you also have a lot of tourism, and a lot of that tourism means that people are always looking to buy illegal substances. So as you're on the island, you'll actually see that there are spots where people sell. Now, we're not going to put anybody in particular on blast because that's not what we do, but there are places on the island where if you were looking for illegal substances or to buy anything out of the ordinary, it can be found on the island. And tourists that come to Florida are particularly looking for that. Even though it's not legal in the state of Florida, you'll find that it's actually more prevalent in Florida than it is in California or other places where it is actually legal. You can see there's no central air conditioning, and that window shaker is definitely in bad shape. So despite the idea that only rich people can live in the Keys, there are regular working class people. In fact, at the park where we started the video, there were even homeless people sleeping at that park. So there are definitely bad neighborhoods in Key West, and despite the tourism, there are still bad little spots. Not everybody on Key West is obviously a millionaire. As you can see here, this is the Housing Authority of Key West. Undoubtedly, this is one of the nicest housing complexes in the United States. Despite the fact it's on an island, it's still government housing. And while I would normally pass up on living on government housing, I would say that when it comes to government housing, this right here is about as nice as it gets in the United States. The fact of many challenges, of course. You can see the unit on the left has a washer and a dryer, but it's not inside the building, it's on the outside. So yes, there are in fact hoods, and there is definitely real spots on Key West, whether it's as dangerous as some other places. Probably not, but it still exists here on Key West without a doubt. Definitely exists.